pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a 6 o'clock appointment with Owens regarding the transfer station project. Have you heard from Owen?
Just that he told me he was coming.
Okay, well,
Knew he was on the agenda.
we were running a little bit late. 6:30, we had Clint Andrews regarding the transfer station grant. You want to go ahead and get through that?
The State Planning Office is giving out $25,000 grants to transfer stations that want to do something to do with recycling cardboard or compost. And if you look at what I gave you there, if you look on page 2, Part B, it tells you that anybody that's a regional transfer station gets first preference at this. They have $300,000 to give away to these grants.
So what is the grant, what do you use the grant money for?
Well, it would have to be something to do with composting. We don't do cardboard, so it would have to be in the composting line. If you are composting now, you can actually add to it, like put like a slab in or a tar base or something like that to actually turn the stuff on. That's what they're recommending to all the transfer stations now. So,
And are there any matching funds required?
yes. It's, it's all broken down in here. I believe it's 15% matching funds. Can't find it right now.
So do you have an idea of what you would want to submit for, what it would cost, and do you have the money in your budget?
No, I don't. That's the problem, yeah.
So,
I don't know how we're going to end up on the year. This thing the contract wouldn't be signed if you get the grant until June. And then you have like 3 months after that to complete it.
So it's a minimum of 15%?
Yes, 15%. It's 85% grant.
well, seeing as we're asking you to cut money out of your budget,
I think we better forget it.
I mean, does anybody else feel any differently?
Well, we've been trying to offload costs rather than onload them. It's been tough the last couple of weeks, and to put money in for a match, a grant match right now, I think is even at the 15% level. Especially if we don't know exactly, have a burning desire for something. And if it was something like, we really need this, then, but if you say, gee, this is a grant, we could get some money, I wonder what we can spend it on,
Yeah.
then I don't think the 15% match is. It's going shopping for something that you didn't plan on going shopping for,
Gordon, Dennis, any other? Okay. I guess that's that.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Do you have a way of contacting Owen? Do you have a cell phone number for him or anything?
I do want that.
Can you maybe give him a shout and see?
Yeah.
He's gonna be, maybe he's just running a few minutes late or something. All right, so we'll try to get a hold of.
Microphone?
Yeah, try to get a hold of Owen. Hearing a delegation. Bob, do you have any words of wisdom for us tonight?
You heard a lot, but I don't want to say them.
In our, the correspondence folder, you have update on collection of personal property taxes. Last week, we had a request from Dwayne Woodsome for a correspondence regarding a right-to-know workshop he wanted to have, and there's a letter that's been drafted for him, so the rest of the board can look at that letter. Reports, town administrator's report.
Still working on the budgets. Like John said, there's been very hard decisions that's had to be made in the past couple of weeks. Hopefully, we'll be winding it down pretty soon as we can forward. The Selectmen's recommendations onto the Finance Committee so that they can start their work. We have the warrant, working on the warrant, but we met with the auditor this morning. They came up with a different idea on how we should do our warrant, so we will need to discuss it. That's how we want to do it. And today received a request from Neil Courtney for an extension on his report due to he underwent some cardiac surgery in February, and he's got a pending sale of his family business, and he's just getting back so that he can really feel like he can start working on the project again, and he would like to ask for an extension on it. I printed off copies of his request for all of the board members.
Well, given those circumstances, I mean, I don't have an issue with it. From how the rest of the board feels.
Oh. I guess heart surgery is a pretty good excuse.
Not like somebody, the dog ate the report or anything like that. When was he originally, when did we anticipate that he was going to be done? I mean, he's saying
It was
now.
spring.
Yeah,
Now he's saying April, but I think the real, I mean, was that, did he have anything that suggested he was gonna be done sooner than that, or? I'm not sure.
And I was thinking it was an April time frame. I don't know if it was the 1st of April.
Okay.
It looks like it will be after, yeah, looks like probably he's looking at an extension into May anyways.
I don't think anybody has a problem with it, so move on to that.
As long as if we don't have it by June 30th, we'll have to carry forward the
Yeah,
funding,
I think that's really the key, is it's gotta be done by.
June 30th.
And it would have been nice to have had, if it,
He hasn't shown up yet.
before we get into the budgeting season, we had to have done something, but
We've done with him, he's gone.
that might have been a rush anyway, so.
I'll make a note and even plug it in on the warrant right now. And if we don't need it, then we can take it off so that we'll be covered anyways.
Can you contact him and find out when he anticipates it being done, and just ask him to have it done before the end of our fiscal year? Okay, anything else, Nancy?
Oh, a reminder that we have a special town meeting next weekend, next Tuesday night at 6 o'clock.
Selectmen's reports? John?
That was a deep sigh.
Well, I don't know, do we want to go any further with our meeting this morning, or is that? We did meet with the auditor, and we're processing what is the information that we got. So I'm not sure that there's probably any further at this time to go than that.
Neat.
Unless, I don't know, Dennis?
Yeah, I think you know, we had some questions, and Julie and Nancy and John and I were there. We certainly all had some questions. I think they were answered. Might have added another layer of confusion in some cases, but I think we'll digest what they've got, and more importantly, I think a session with certainly Chris and A.V. Sharman, and just sitting down and walking through everything so we all understand, you know, what the reports are telling us, because I think if anything, there's been some confusion over the past couple of audits of what's there and what we think is there. I'll leave it at that. We did have some discussions relative to reporting and whatnot, relative to what we can or can't get out of Trio, and I think Chris made the suggestion they have somebody that works for Ron, I think, that is supposedly a very crackerjack on Trio and Trio reporting, and it might be worth sitting with her to develop what we want to see for structured reports going forward that take some of the confusion out of these revenue expenditure reports that we see on a weekly basis.
You know, I see a bottom line is that we're in pretty good shape as far as undesignated surplus. And we remain in pretty good shape in that area, and that's good. I also got a feeling that on the negative side is we're not as in control of our expenditures as we'd like to be, and I think finding a system of better control is very important.
Anything else? Back a few months ago, we had a presentation on the PACE funds that were available for the energy efficiency grants for homeowners, and I was notified yesterday that the PACE funds are now available for Waterboro residents. For those that aren't familiar, Efficiency Maine is providing PACE loans, and these are homeowners' loans to make their homes more energy efficient. It includes loans that help purchase new heating systems, weatherization projects, insulation, air sealing, and replacing inefficient appliances and lighting. To get a PACE loan, you have to live in a community that passed a PACE ordinance. The town of Waterboro did. So Waterboro residents are eligible for these loans. In order to apply for a loan, you have to have a energy audit of the home. The property taxes have to be paid up, and if there's any water or sewer payments, not an issue here, that needs to be taken care of. The loans right now are being offered at a fixed interest rate of 4.9%. They're payable over 15 years, and the loans are transferable upon the sale of the property. So if somebody takes out a PACE loan, they sell the property, the loan stays with the property as opposed to being in that person's name. David got the information posted on the website today under news and announcements, so anybody that's interested in the PACE loan, go to the town's website and all the information you need is there. Also, would like to wish our tax assessor, Jerry Daigle, a speedy recovery. He had some surgery last week. He's going to be out for a few weeks, but he's going to be touching base with Nancy and I think trying to figure out a wireless connection so he can do some work from home. And also, Mike DeAngelis asked us to pass along that the senior luncheons are going to be starting up again. They'll be starting on May 12th, and those are held at the Snowmobile Club on the old Alfred Road. For committee appointments tonight, committee reports, we have the motor vehicle agent, the tax collector, the town clerk, and general assistant. However, tomorrow is taxes are due. Today? and they've been quite busy, so they're not able to join us tonight, so we'll postpone those reports out until next week. Moving on to new business, we have discussed a vote on an abatement request. And in our packets, we have an abatement requested, and the recommendation of the tax assessor was to deny the abatement. The assessed value of the property falls within 10% of the statute.
I will move the assessor's recommendation.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? All right. Discuss update on collection of personal property taxes. A few months ago, we hired Susan Swed to work on collecting some personal property taxes that are overdue to the town. There are 7 accounts that she's been working on. Of those 7 accounts, she will be filing suit in 4 of them. The other 3 were small amounts that she didn't feel were cost value in filing those suits, but in the accounts that she is filing suit on, the total amount is $38,761. One account is just over $22,000, another is $4,700, $3,000, and $8,800 account. And the other accounts are all under $1,000, and those are the ones that she's recommending not moving forward on. Is there a question?
No, I can tell you that they've been initiated because the deputy that's handling that and I have spoken, so the papers have been issued. Whether or not they've been served right now, I don't know.
So we'll continue to watch that and move forward with that. Clint, no luck with Owen.
No luck at all. I
Okay.
called both places,
Okay.
his cell phone.
Well, hopefully he knew he was coming, so hopefully he's okay. Because that's not typical of Owen to not call in. Have you checked the messages since you've been back to see if he called in? Maybe give that a check, make sure. On to old business, discuss a vote on a Waterboro regional waste contract. We had a workshop with Clint. We have had interest from another community to start using our transfer station, and we've had an agreement with Hollis for a number of years. What we wanted to do was put this all together in one package so that if towns approached us and wanted to enter into an agreement to use our transfer station, it was the same across the board, and it wasn't going to be one agreement with one community, another agreement with a different community. We're striving for consistency. So Clint, you want to explain where you are with this? Nothing here? You don't listen? Okay.
Well, I tried to figure it out by the person, and then I just added the 10% in, and it would be, the one town that wants to come in now, we would be charging like $21,949, and that figures out to about $11.17 a person in the town. If you did the same thing with Hollis, it would figure out, be $41,520.
All right, so let me see if I get this right. The operation as it stands today, given that it's divided by Waterboro's population,
Yeah.
it costs, in essence, every person, every head in this town, $12.75 per person,
That's right.
okay? if we could spread those, the total cost across 2 towns, Dayton and Waterboro, it would go down to $10.16.
Right.
And if we added just us and Hollis, it would go down. Ultimately, all you're doing is adding their head count to the,
That's
and
right.
dividing out the
That's
cost, right?
Right.
Just not sure I,
Well, if all 3 towns were in it, you'd be down to 7.
I understand that.
10%.
but I also understand that part of those costs that we experience, right, in this town are gonna be there whether there's another person in or not, right?
Right, that's right.
So you took the total budget, less the tipping fees?
Less everything that goes to equal money. You're just drawing a line. Everything in the household waste and over that way is taken out of the budget. Income is taken out of there too. It comes
Yep.
out to, $98,049.38.
So all we're doing is taking 100 grand basically and saying, if you wanna participate, it's your head count or your population share of the 98 grand.
That's right. And that would be done yearly.
Plus, we had talked about adding a surcharge,
10%.
figuring that, the cost of the wear and tear on the transfer station, on the equipment, et cetera.
Administrative fees.
Yep.
The whereases, et cetera, is that coming out of another regional, where did the contract language come from?
That is part of it. It was the last contract that was done. I think the attorney did that.
Okay,
And I just tried to change everything in there to make it kind of updated.
okay.
See, where I have a problem is that we're diluting the cost based on population,
Right.
right? Which would suggest that if a Hollis or a Dayton, or they collectively came in together, that the cost drops dramatically. While the benefit to us is that our cost goes from $12 a head down to 7 something a head,
That's right.
right?
Right.
And I'm just trying to, what I'm struggling with is if they both join in, why would they enjoy the same reduced head, cost per head that we would when we own all of the assets? The operation wouldn't be there if it wasn't for us.
That's true, very true. But I don't know how, what I did is I went to 3 or 4 different towns or districts, and this is how they figure it.
So it's driven strictly by population,
That's right.
not use.
I think it's Presque Isle that they somehow in the formula, they put the valuation of each town. But that gets complicated.
Well, I mean, that's why,
Yeah.
everything else in this state is based on the municipal's net worth,
That's right.
right, basically in valuation. That's what everything is driven from. So that's the common denominator. It's got throughout the state. It doesn't go by population, it goes by
Yeah.
what's the value
What
of the
they're
community.
paying, what they're actually paying for is the use of it. That is the use, being able to use it. Each individual that comes in is gonna pay for what he actually dumps. They're also gonna have to buy a sticker, just like the Waterboro people.
I mean, you look at this, it looks fair. I mean, any of the 2 towns can look and see that their cost is less than our cost alone to be with us. So we're not sticking anything to them there. So it's basically we're sharing what it costs us.
Right.
And we're gonna, if they come on with us, we'll save some money.
Yeah, and our big expense down there is the household waste in that section over there. That's the expensive part of the whole transfer station.
Now, budgeting season, we would have to get a head count or know which municipalities are going into the budgeting season so that they could plan
Right.
appropriately, so that we could plan appropriately. What happens if a community comes in midstream and wants to join up in January?
I think you brought that up, didn't you?
I
last
brought that
time?
up at the discussion.
We would go like on a half year, you know, half the cost.
Why
Then,
why would you do that?
I'm not, why, well, they're only gonna use it for a half a year.
So that's an annualized rate, so divide the rate by 12.
That's right, you could do that
Yeah,
too.
Just say that-
I thought we
can
talked
do
about
that.
prorating it.
Yeah,
Right, so you just say, yeah, I think the key is if you come in half year, then you don't pay the full rate, you get the prorated.
Right, what I'm wondering is though, what fee do we charge them? If we're basing this on population, then when we go into the year, we're gonna say, okay, we've got Hollis and Dayton coming in this year. That would be one fee. You know, we charge them one fee. If it's just Hollis, and it's a different fee structure. So how do you figure what the fee is going to be if you have another
And you
group?
adjust it on an annual basis, right? You
That's it.
say
That's the only way
that
you
right
could do
now,
it,
going in,
annually.
we know that that 100 grand is gonna be divided by X amount of heads, right? Somebody comes in, they pay that then rate that everybody else is
Right.
paying, right? And
That's right.
their advantage is that the following year is that they help everybody reduce their rate per head, right? So it might cost them a little more up front to come in mid-year, but they get the benefit next year of a reduced number. Oh,
I mean, we wouldn't change fee midstream is, I guess,
I
what
wouldn't-
my
I wouldn't
concern
think
would
I
be.
don't think you would.
Oh, because if we assess them, for the sake of argument, that $8.66, which is the
Yeah.
base price plus 10%,
That's right,
you know, they've already budgeted that amount of money.
right.
And we're not going to be in a position of giving rebates to those that did it. So we'd have to start at what that rate was set for that year.
That's right.
And then the following year, if there's an adjustment to be made, then we let everybody know so they prepare their budgets for that new assessed rate. If we don't get anybody new, the rate stays the same.
Well, if you notice in there too also that each town would have you selectmen would meet with one from each one of their board, and that would be done annually. That's when you'd set all the rates and everything at that time.
yeah.
All right, any other questions for Clint?
I know I've been getting emails quite frequently from Dayton.
They want
They really want to know, because they want to budget it, you know, try to figure it in.
Well, I venture a guess you'll probably be getting a few emails from Hollis.
Well, I will move that we accept this plan.
Is there a second?
Second discussion.
Discussion?
Yeah, the figures that you have in here do not reflect the
No.
percentage that we talked about, correct?
Right.
So this contract in itself with those areas regarding the fees would have to be amended to reflect that figure.
Right.
Okay, just as
That
sort
fee
of,
plus the 10%.
yeah, just so long as we know that up front. Yeah, the language itself, I guess, is fine.
Okay. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? All right. So I guess our next, kind of need to get in touch with Hollis,
Yeah.
let them know that we're going to have a change, what the change is, find out from them if they want to commit to us for next year.
And notify Dayton so they can budget it if they, you know, are going to do it.
Because if Hollis says no, then that increases the cost
Right.
to Dayton. So
Yeah.
I think the next thing is we kind of got to play this out with Hollis. Okay.
Okay.
Nancy, would you be the one to contact Hollis?
Yeah, send them a- Give me a copy of what Hollis is going to need so I can include it.
You know, I think you just have to couch it that we've looked at this, there's additional folks coming in, and the real issue is the operational, we sort everything out, it's the what part of the transfer station they're gonna utilize, and that they would be responsible for.
All right. Moving on, discuss charter commission vacancy. I don't think we've had anybody that's come forward to express an interest in joining the charter commission. I know I've talked to several people, and I know, John, you've kind of beat some bushes. I think, Gordon, you have talked to a few folks, Dennis, and David, I don't know if you've had any luck.
No.
What we said was if by this meeting we didn't find somebody from the board would be appointed. So I guess that's where we're at. We have any volunteers?
I would reluctantly volunteer.
I'm gonna say, don't everybody speak
Yeah.
at once.
I'll volunteer too.
I would default then to Gordon, because I'm,
Your
that
reluctance
would put,
is-
that would put me on a committee with my son, so that would be, not that that is an issue.
Might make some for interesting
might
Sunday
make some-
dinner.
It would make,
conversation.
no, it would make for some
Repartee.
interesting banter around town more than it would for anything else, so if Gordon has the interest in that, then I would default.
I just want to assist you in avoiding
No,
any
I would-
family conflict or conflict of interest.
So I would entertain a motion to appoint Gordon to the Charter Commission.
So moved.
Second, John?
Yes.
All those in favor? Very good.
All right.
Next,
I'll run in and see if you might have
okay.
When do they meet?
I sent them a message.
I'm not sure. Diane Holden will have the...
I'll get a hold of Diane.
Yep. Next on the agenda is assess goals. Every year, we sit down at the beginning of our year, and we come up with some goals that we'd like to accomplish over the course of the next year. And John had asked that we kind of take a look at these and see where we are. This year, we had 3 goals. The quality and efficiency of municipal services will be noticeably improved, and we were working on a restructuring plan. We've continued to move forward with that. We were hoping to have more of that in place by now, but we got held up with a few pieces of that, so that is still a goal that we're actively working on. Any input from the board on that goal of itself?
No, other than it would be nice to get her done, I guess.
Yeah.
I think one of the things in this goal and the second goal, we have some training stuff in there that we just haven't had the money to pay for the training.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be nice to come up with a grant or something that doesn't have match for that purpose, but that's somewhat limiting there.
The second goal was the Board of Selectmen would better engage with members of municipal boards and committees. We were looking at having some training done for the board and for chairs of various committees, possibly looking at the Muskie School. Again, those are all pieces that need some funding, and we haven't had that available to us, so those have not been followed up on at this point, although John did do some work on trying to find someone to do some training with us, and I think we got held up on the money piece of it.
I think it was a money piece. And, you know, I think from the end of where we're attending committee meetings, I think we're doing better than we did a year ago at this time on that. So I think that aspect is a major piece there, but to take us to the next step is really to get the committees in and go through some common training.
And then the final goal was the Board of Selectmen will provide leadership in enhancing communication and a greater sense of community in the town's staff and citizens. And part of what we wanted to look at doing here was a staff newsletter. We wanted to have one out in the first quarter. So we need to get that done this month, and John, Nancy, and I were supposed to work on that, so I think that's something the three of us could work on and get done. I know we've been pretty focused on the budget lately, but I think if we all took a piece of that, that's something that we can get done.
And this would be the time to be a good time to put it out with the budget.
Yep. So the three of us can get together, as we said we would, and
Yeah.
work on that.
Yeah.
And we also wanted to do, for lack of a better term, fireside chats, kind of a here's what's happening in town. Just have, David film a little piece for us that would play over the course of a month, just kind of talking about different topics in town. We wanted to start that in January. We're a little late getting that one done by about 4 months, but I think, again, that's something that it's a great time to start that with where we are with the budgets. Hopefully, we'll be wrapping up budgets here soon and getting those off, and town meeting coming up. It's a good time to kind of get those done, so I think that's something that we need to really work on.
Yeah, I think
I'll get it
if
done.
we can get out one of the quarterlies and a chat about the budget, that'd be very, I think it would be a very good piece. So I'd be happy to sit down with him,
Any comments on that?
start on this.
I know Pete was very excited. He thought we should put in one of those electric fireplaces right against it.
Yeah,
He had the room all decorated.
Plans and everything.
I think to some extent, we've been encumbered a little bit on trying to accomplish these goals by a myriad of other activities that have taken place, some of which are, fires that we've had to put out from one source or another within the community that, without elaborating too much, has just caused some, concern in the background. The other thing is we've hired a new, town clerk, which, took some time away from the time that we would have had, to put forth an effort in this. And so I think that, given all those things that have transpired, I think we've done well to get as far as we have, although we haven't, accomplished exactly what we wanted to do. We have made strides.
It's not that we've outright ignored that we had goals and shoved them to the wayside. It's just other things this year have really consumed our time.
I haven't had the time to.
Yeah, and I think, when we meet this summer, we may be basically updating these 3 goals, because I think I look at them now and think, this is what we really ought to do, and update them and make them maybe take some of the money pieces out of them, and say, how are we going to get this done without hiring people to do, specialists to help us. See if we can do it in-house.
All right, any other discussion on the goals? Okay. Next on the agenda, under old business, discuss Courtney Lane request. We've had this one kind of 3 or 4 weeks now. We've had a request from a property owner on Courtney Lane to purchase a lot, an adjacent lot. We've had Pam do some research for us. One of the questions that kind of remained was, there anything that the Conservation Commission had ever done with this lot to put it into protection? And I think through Pam's diligence in researching that, she found that there was no interest from the Conservation Commission at any point in this lot. So that's just not going to stay, Gordon.
It's not gonna.
Not gonna. So with that, we have open for discussion. Do we want to entertain the offer from the abutter to purchase the lot? Do we want to put the lot out to bid? What would the board like to do with this?
Well, I find it a little,
I would disagree with Jerry's assessment that just because we would deed something to someone and it says it's not buildable, that it'll only reduce the value by 50%, and it, in essence, renders the lot a lot less valuable than 50% from the assessed value. I'm not sure, other than it get caught up in the typical, here's lots, they're in this zone, we're going to assess them at this. Very obvious that this one has been floating around and for years, so, you know, I guess, you know, I kind of pondered through this a lot, and my suggestion is, if you want to say it reduces by 30% or down to 30%, go back and say, we'll sell it there for 14 grand, we're going to set, it's going to increase your land valuation by 23, something of that nature. It puts it back on the tax roll. We're getting zip out of it now. I'm not sure that it's fair just because somebody comes up and says, I want to buy this land, that we now say, let's put it up for auction, because I'm not sure that anybody's going to build on it anyway. But so my recommendation is you go back to them and say 14 grand is about 30% of the assessed value today. It's higher, they offered 12.5. So if they want to come up with the other 1,500 bucks, sell it to them for 14 grand and combine it with their lot. And they're going to get a municipal quitclaim deed that says that the lot's unbuildable.
And we're only releasing our interest.
Right. So I'm not sure that we have everything to offer them in a warranty, that a warranty deed would have. I know we don't have everything to offer, so I'm not sure how you could say that, wow, it's worth 25,000 bucks. 23.3 or whatever he said.
My only concern is the other abutter. There's one other, is it one or two?
Just
Two.
one.
Well-
Just one, because there's a road in between them. So the third one would be actually across the street. Remember when we looked at that map, there's
Yep.
only,
I thought there was two butters.
there were only two.
There's only two.
So they own, current property owns this, so 34 would be the only other abutter. She's saying because
So
it's across the
58,
road,
58,
it wouldn't be. So my only
Oh,
thing would
56.
be, to make it fair to the other abutter,
there's one big abutter, 55.
that would be my only issue is,
So I would-
it'd be like what we did in Arrowhead.
So you
We
call,
offered it out.
call the other abutter, say, we're gonna sell this lot for 15 grand, are you interested? Right, and if the answer is no, then I think that resolves it. If it is, then I think you say, okay, here's was our starting price, how bad do you want it? Then you might pit one against the other, but I'm not sure that, again, I'm not sure that it's fair just because somebody comes in and says, okay, I want to buy it, it's been off the tax rolls for years, well, gee, now we get some interest, let's put it up to bid.
And I agree with you there. But I think our past practice when we did the Arrowhead lots was we put it out to all of the abutters. And so I think for consistency, if you have somebody that's interested in this parcel, you put it out to both abutters.
I guess put a price on it, get a letter out to the abutters, put a timeline on it, and then if the other two abutters don't respond or respond negatively, then get back to the original people and say, this is the price, this is our selling price.
Or do a seal bid.
Yeah, I think to be
Yeah,
fair,
the
you'd
problem
have
with
to
the
do
seal
a...
bid is we've thrown around numbers now, and
That's
it's
true.
public
Yeah, I
record,
don't think
right?
that-
Well, we could say
What
a
are the price,
minimum
what was
bid
the, what
of...
was your price, 14 something?
14 is 30% of the,
Okay.
So we'd say that the minimum bid is 14, and then let them...
That's what we
You
did
know,
with
and
Arrowhead.
ask
Yeah,
for a
Arrowhead
reply
was the
one way or
minimum
the
bid.
other. We may get it from one of them which says that I'm not interested. So it's back to the original person anyway. We gotta find out if they're interested in the new price.
But this is more of an auction, this isn't a closed bid, so if one of the abutters puts down, I'll pay 15, and someone says, I'll pay 14.5, and the original people say 14, I don't think it's not a closed bid, so I think at that time, maybe you have, meet with the people that are interested, if there's more than one, and auction it.
Yeah, I mean, it differs a little bit from the Lake Arrowhead thing, because when we were doing Lake Arrowhead things, the offer was out there, but it was always the first person in. Right? The first person that came in and said, I'm willing to buy that lot for this, because we had offered to everybody, we said, all right, we take your money, right? We didn't say, well, wait a minute, let's go back, and now I understand, we didn't have this same deal here, but it is a little bit different than what we've done in the past with Lake Arrowhead lots, because once we put them out there, hey, first in is the person that buys it.
Yeah, I just don't want to see, I don't want to see these people who went through this effort and say they want this land, and then not have them have a full
Opportunity.
Well, I
possibility
think
of
there's a
getting
couple
it.
of things that they should know. Number one, we're willing to sell it, but it's gonna carry a non-buildable clause with it.
Yeah.
Which I think is one of the things that they most want the land for, is to preserve it.
Okay, so that's gonna throw something in that today, there's no clause that says you can't build there, other than the nature of the land is saying it's probably not a buildable lot. Okay? But they could put a non-dwelling structure on it, be that a garage or a boathouse or whatever the case may be. Even though it's a quote-unquote non-buildable lot, that term is always carried with it, a dwelling, right? So, I have a problem with going to the abutters, but say, you know, we've been approached by one of the abutters to sell this, to sell this lot. We're checking with the other abutters. Here's the starting price. If you're interested, you have to, at a minimum, meet this price.
Notify us by such and such a date.
And if no, we're gonna sell it to, at whoever offers us that price by that date.
So it's a first come, first served.
Oh, I think you put it in and you say this is the number. If somebody says, well, wait a minute, I'm willing to pay more, you know, I'm not sure that we get into a bidding war, but. So there's two ways to do it. You put it in, make us an offer by a certain date, or, you know, if you're interested, you've got, you know, the first one we received after 14 days from now is the one that we accept, as long as you meet our minimum.
Yeah, again, I don't want to see these people, I think these people have shown the initiative. And if someone comes in higher, or there's several people that are interested, let's say if both the butters are interested, you get 3 people interested, I'd say, you know, bring the 3 of them in, sit down and say, who's willing to go highest here? You know, we were at 14, you all agree on 14, who wants to go to 14.5, who wants to go to 15?
I think on the map, we only have a butter on each side, so it's
You don't
only,
talk
it's only,
to
it's gonna be
people.
Courtney.
There's the big
That's
lot,
right
right?
here. They own this
There's
one,
lot
so it's only this one.
55. Who owns 55?
No, it's slots 34 and
Right.
Kyle
32
Goodwin
and
owns-
36?
Kyle Goodwin owns lot 55.
Oh, 34 and 30,
It's 56 and 34 and
yeah,
31.
56
there
and
is another
34.
one, yeah.
There is.
There
There's
is
a
one.
big,
There is.
there's a big
That's what I thought.
open
And
piece of
55.
land, basically,
there's-
right?
Oh,
There's 3
50.
there.
There's a large tract, which is 55.
Right.
Then there's 34 that has road frontage on Courtney Lane, and 56 that has road frontage on Courtney Lane. Those are the abutters, immediate abutters on Courtney Lane. There is a back abutter, which is 55.
Yeah.
Or front abutter, whatever you want to, I don't know how I'm assuming the houses all point towards Courtney Lane.
I mean, my suggestion would be that we send a notice out to the abutters to say we've had one abutter that's interested in purchasing the property, that we'll entertain selling it for a minimum of, 14, and we'll accept bids, sealed bids, until such and such a date from the abutters. Open the bids on such and such a date, and whoever offers the highest
That's
gets
the
the
cleanest,
parcel.
cleanest way to do it. But there's a hurdle, right? There's a minimum bid.
Yep.
Now, Dennis, why did you say you didn't agree with Jerry's 50%
Well, first of
reduction?
all, I think it's a stretch to assume that the lot was worth 46 to begin with, right? That's what we have it rated at, but that's just because it happens to be in a development, and one would presume that it's buildable, right? We're gonna take the buildability out of it, if that's a word, right? Because we're gonna give them a quick claim, municipal quick claim deed that says that you can't put a dwelling on that property. So Jerry's saying, well, that only reduces the value by 50%. I'm not sure that you could get a bank to give you 50% of loan on that piece of property. So I'm only saying, okay, I don't agree with a 50, maybe it's, you lose 60% of the, or 70% of the value, and it's worth 30% of what we've got to assess that. That's where the 14 comes from. $14,010 or something is 30% of the assessed value. I just don't see it, David. It's probably, you know, I'm not sure that you could sell it for 23 right now. It's very obvious that nobody's done anything with it because it's sat there for all those years, but because the nature of the lot, and go look at Lake Arrowhead. A lot that's being sold that you can build on is 14, 15 grand, or it was, right, a number of years ago. In a lot that's not buildable, we're selling them for 2,500. So I think that kind of is where I'm coming from, is say it's 30% of the assessed value. Jerry thinks it's 50. Okay, I don't have a problem with arguing with Jerry, but I don't. These people, the offer that they tendered was simple math, right? At today's tax rate, for the last 20 years, you would have collected this much money. That's what we're willing to offer you.
So, the thing comes down, I think we all want to deal this. The thing comes down whether it's more of an auction or whether it's more of a bid. I like to give a person a second chance if there's a second person available, and rather than just have it a closed bid.
David?
Well, I guess I'd like to see get a flat price for it, but also, in addition to that price, we get the taxes on top of it.
Well, you're going to get the taxes. It's going to go back on the tax roll.
I know, but
Yeah,
I mean-
I think what you're saying is that there's $4,000 owed in taxes or something, right?
2,800.
Right. So I guess that gets you closer to, you know, a number, but I'm not sure who they're owed. Nobody's owned up to the fact that they've owned it. So, I mean, if you look at the taxes owed, there's one in 1992, and then it jumps to 1997 or something, right?
Gordon?
So, it's a mystery.
There's a lot of mysteries in
I was
town.
hesitant from the beginning without knowing who owns the property to begin with. But, you know, if we're given a quick claim deed,
All we're selling is our interest.
yeah.
Are you more interested in an auction type or a bid? Field bid?
I'm interested in having whatever we set for a flat fee was at 14,000. And if they want it, you can still have a sealed bid, I think, because that's our base price. You've got to at least match that. And whatever over that you care to do, then so be it. But I just think it ought to be fair to everybody, and it ought to be consistent with what we've done with properties in the past. And I hate to have a different set of rules every time that we sell a piece of property in town.
Dennis?
I'm okay with, as you suggest, set a number and go out to them and say, you've got a certain date to come back, this is the minimum asking price, and we'll open any bids that come in, which is only gonna be 3. If all 3 are interested, then we'll look at them.
And just make sure the notice that goes out to them specifically says it's non-buildable.
Okay. I mean, my guess is you're going to get one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we may very well be talking amongst ourselves here.
How do we know that it's actually non-buildable? Who's
That's,
That's
that's,
in the
we're
deed.
gonna put
Doesn't
that
matter to us.
restriction on.
We're gonna put that restriction in the deed. just like we've done with the Lake Arrowhead lots. You buy an adjacent lot in Lake Arrowhead from the town of Waterboro, there's a municipal quitclaim deed that says this will be non-buildable
Only for
for
a
a
shed or a
dwelling.
garage.
So if somebody wanted to put a shed or something on that property, because it, in essence, double the size of their property, what you don't want to do is to sell them a piece of property for $2,000 and then have them put a house on it.
But they could extend the size of their existing dwelling over onto
Well,
that property.
they can't go over that property line. It gives them the ability to go up. I don't think they have to meet the setback then, right? I mean, I'm not sure how that,
Their setback,
Right.
their sideline would now be.
right, it's now a new sideline. but I
Merging
mean,
the lots.
You cannot put an additional dwelling on it. That's the whole key behind it.
So, do we have a motion somewhere in all of this?
Okay, is the lot big enough to build on?
It's 100 by 100, Dave.
Okay.
So,
Right.
and it appears that it's probably within shoreland zoning.
Yeah, that's what it says
Well,
on the tax code.
If 57 is 100 by 100, then 56 must be less than that? Is there a house on 56?
Don't know.
Because
Well,
they
why I'm thinking
owned
that is there
two
used to be a
parcels, right? They owned across the street. I think they
Yeah,
owned
this is a-
30 and 56.
Yep.
So
I
this
thought
would be
that's-
their third parcel over there. But,
Which building did you want to know if there was a?
Okay, so you're saying there's 1, 2, 3 parcels of land that are adjacent to this lot 57.
right, 56, 34, and 55.
What about 31 across the road?
Nope.
Nope,
Well,
it's
It's not
not.
contiguous.
Okay.
So Dennis, did you want to make a motion?
Yeah, I'll move that we go back to the Dinios, or however you pronounce the name, and the other two abutters, saying that the town of Waterboro is decided to sell this piece of property as a non-buildable, and I think we define what non-buildable is, no dwelling. The minimum acceptable bid is $14,000, which is 30% of the assessed value. And we give them, I guess you give them a month, right? Is that appropriate?
Yeah.
And by the end of, or by the 5th of April, or whatever that Friday is, I guess, May, that we'll receive the bids and we'll open them the following Tuesday night. And our intent is that we'll award the sale to the highest bidder.
So bidding,
As long as the minimum is met.
so
That's the
bids,
intent of the motion.
bids would close May 6th, and we would open the bids on May 10th. Okay, is there a second
With
to
a
that?
base, with a base price of 14,000.
Right.
Okay. Got all that, Pam? Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? All right. Other, I'd entertain a motion to sign warrants for bills and payroll.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Discuss vote to sign the minutes of 3:15 and 3:29.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
I voted
And-
affirmative for 15 and I abstained for 29 because I wasn't.
All right. Pending decisions, we have public service announcements, performance bonds, committee self-evals, the week's action list. Oh, Clint disappeared. Nancy, we need to follow up with Owen, find out what happened to him
Yeah, I
tonight.
checked, and he didn't leave a message, and I checked with Tom.
Okay.
Also, along that same line, do we need to discuss Clint's meeting with Atlantic Recycling in Lucas? Or is that not pertinent tonight?
Oh, we can put it on next week's agenda?
Okay.
Tomorrow night, we have a meeting with the planning board.
Yes.
Is this something that we, before that meeting, the planning board is meeting at 7, I'm not sure when we fit on their agenda. Do we want to meet before that and budget?
I'm available. I'd say we'd have to start probably by 5, though, in order so we could at least get a couple hours in to make it worth our while. Is that possible for you, David? Gordon,
What
do
day?
5 o'clock tomorrow night?
I mean,
Tomorrow night?
Yeah, budget meeting before we meet with the planning board?
Yeah, might as well, because we'll be tied up anyway.
Dennis?
Well, yeah, I was going to the 2020 committee meeting, but that's fine. They're at 5, but I'll come to the budget meeting here. So the emails that kind of floated around, I think it said something about they would meet with us after their
After the
scheduled
regular
meeting.
Right.
So does
That may
that
not be
mean,
until
that's
late.
not 6 o'clock, right?
No,
They meet at 7.
They meet at 7, and they've got 2 appointments, and then they'll
So,
adjourn and go into the board
All right.
meeting, so.
So it might be 8:30 before they're ready to meet with us.
right, so,
Hopefully it's going to be sooner than that, because they've also got the water district folks coming.
so, yeah, I guess we should start at 5. I'm good with that.
Okay, so we'll meet at 5 o'clock and post that. David, can you get that up on the web? All right.
Now, if we-
I'm sorry, what was that?
Well, if they're not gonna get to us till 7:30 at the earliest, and probably 8 more likely. I mean, do we need 3 hours to beat that budget?
No, I mean, I think, well,
then what kind of
Probably.
shape we're going to be for next week? I'm thinking, you know, if we're here at 6 and we get in there at 8, we're already 2 hours in.
I don't know, up to you guys, what do you want to do?
I'm okay with 6, it'll give me an opportunity to at least
Yeah.
scoot over to the
I
other
think
one.
6 is,
6?
Yeah.
All right, so it'll be
We
6
can-
o'clock.
We can meet in the lunchroom.
Lunchroom.
Yep.
Okay. Discussion of agenda items. We have the special town meeting next week at 6 o'clock. We'll discuss a transfer station. We need to do some follow-up with Owen, find out when we can get him in here. Anything else for the agenda next week? Okay. I am in Augusta next Tuesday for some training. I get out at 4, so I should
Plenty of time.
be here fine. But just in case I'm a few minutes late, I'll get here as quick as I
Step on.
can. Yeah.
Plenty of time.
Items needing signature, warrants for bills and payroll, minutes of 3:15 and 3:29. Reminders, Wednesday, April 6, 5 PM, the 2020 comprehensive plan is meeting at the central station. The Board of Selectmen will meet at 6 PM here at Town Hall for a budget meeting. 7 PM is the planning board here at the annex. Saturday, April 9th at 8:30 is the cribbage tournament. Monday, April 11th, 7 PM, Parks and Rec Committee is meeting at Town Hall. Tuesday, April 12th at 6 PM, special town meeting here at the annex, followed by the Selectmen's meeting and meeting, reporting next week. We have the CEO, Sauk River Corridor Commission, and if we could get the reports from the ones that we missed tonight. And with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
You got it.
Second? All those in favor? All right, thank you and good night.